After having a really great conversation yesterday with the future SLP, I thought it would be a good idea to come on here and share some interview tips. These tips are universal. They can be used for college interviews, CF positions, and just throughout your career. So if you want to kill your interviews and you want to have your pick of employers, make sure you follow these tips and follow along with this video. Okay, tip number 1 is to do your research beforehand. You want to know what this company values and how you can showcase that in the interview, how you value that as well. You want to make them feel like you are all on the same page. Most companies and, school districts, contracting companies, whatever you might have, they usually have a mission statement. You can find this mission statement before the interview and reference it in the interview to let them know that you have really been paying attention, you know what this company is all about, and you want to be a part of it. For example, if a company has a pillar of diversity, you might be able to bring up how that pillar is important to you, why it's important to you, and how it's been important throughout your life. You want them to think, wow, this person will really fit within our culture. This is great. She knows our values. They understand why it's important to us. And not only do they understand, they've lived that way their entire life. And I know that because they just told me in the interview. Wow, this person is going to be perfect. Now, when you talk about these things and you bring up the company's mission statement or their values and how you agree with them, you want to make sure that those things are really true. So it's important that you do your research, but it's also really important that you know what you value and what you are looking for in a place like a school or a company or a job, wherever. You want to make sure you know what you're looking for as well. Next tip is to make sure you only highlight the skills that are relevant to the position. If you plan on bringing up a skill or an experience that you really want to talk about in the interview, make sure you can tie it back into how it relates to this specific position at this specific place. Now, this is another key. They will most likely ask you to tell a story about a time that's representative of something. So, for example, tell me about a time where you had to be a problem solver or whatever that might look like. You want to come into this situation prepared. Think about all your anecdotes and all the different experiences that you have and be able to pull them out of pocket anytime you need them. Like, yeah, I know a time I solved a problem. I know a time that I was beneficial to a client. You want to be able to pull on these anecdotes and make sure that you can answer these questions and be prepared for them because you know they're coming. They might ask about a difficult case you may have had or a difficult parent, when you've had to prove that your treatment plan was correct, any experience that you have like running a meeting, collaborating with other professionals is a big one if you've worked with other SLPs or other related service providers. You just want to be able to make sure you can pull on some experience that they might ask you about. Okay, so this is very important. You want to remember that yes, you are being interviewed and you want to sell yourself, but you are also interviewing them too. At the end of every interview, the person will ask you if you have any questions, and you should always say yes. You should always have questions. Think about the things that are important to you beforehand. This is your chance to get to know if you want to work for this company, not just if they want you to work for them. So you can ask this question like, I really believe in this certain value. How is this certain value reflected here? This is something that we hear all the time, but that I don't think we put into practice enough, and that is to be yourself. No matter how nervous I am, because I usually am very nervous, but I try my best to be myself and, try to do things that I would normally do. So I'm really into clothes and details and like the way people put things together. And so if I notice that in somebody in the room, I'll just mention that and be like, hey, I really like how you put that together. I really like how that necklace works with X, Y, and Z, and give them a simple compliment and just proceed on with whatever we're discussing. So just really being yourself and trying to lighten the mood or really open yourself up to how you would normally be in a regular situation. Or if you're at the start of the interview and you're really excited to be interviewing for this particular position, let them know that. Tell them, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for this opportunity, for this interview. I can't wait to get started. People want to hire real people. This is the person that you're going to be working with. So you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be yourself. At the end of the day, just make sure that you're genuine, you're yourself, and show them that you're someone that would be a cool coworker, somebody that you would enjoy working with, that will be a team player and will help everybody get the job done and will get your job done, most importantly. Another thing that's really important is to make sure you pay attention to the way that you feel when you're in the room. You have the power to decide before you're offered the position. You have the power to decide if you want to work there. If this is somewhere where you would feel comfortable working on a day-to-day basis. You can decide that the moment you walk into the room, before you're offered the position, and something you should be thinking about throughout. Will I be happy here? I have a few more small tips. Like, number one, presentation is important, but it is not everything. You should not spend more time stressing about what you're going to look like than, preparing for the interview. And I know, especially as women of color, we think about this a lot, and I just don't want us to be stuck in that space. Another one, get there early. I am extremely directionally challenged, so if we're in person, I have to get there early to make sure I get anywhere on time because I never know where I'm going. But even if we're in a virtual space and you have to get there like into a meeting on time, start your connection early. You never know what's going to happen if you have to set up a camera or a microphone or a light, or just make sure your computer is charged, your AirPods are charged, because I've had all of these things happen to me where nothing was ready. So just start early, get prepared early, set yourself up. Then, take some time, breathe, maybe meditate, and you're ready to go at the time you're supposed to be. And last thing is to follow up after the interview. Admittedly, I have never followed up to anybody after an interview, but now, like at this big age, when I think about it, and if I'm on the other side, I'm on the receiving end of that email, like, hey, thank you so much for the opportunity to interview with this company. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to hearing back from you. Like, that would change everything about how I view that applicant. Let me know if you have any specific questions or want some specific advice about your interview. And if you want to see more, let me know in the comments. Follow me at JRC SLP.